stealing packages, crying like in the middle of the street, like, ah, like walks past them and like ignores them. No tipping culture in Japan. 皆様こんにちは、今日はラジスです。今日の動画は the second video that I posted, or the third one, of why I moved to Japan seemed to do really well, and people seem to be really interested in those reasons. So I thought I would upload a part 2, explaining why I moved to Japan, more reasons. 多分前の動画にちょっと話してたんですけど、アメリカの危ないところとか安全じゃないところとか、まあいろんな問題があるけど、一つ気づいたことは、日本のお家の前にカメラとかあんまりない。For example, in America, everyone nowadays, most of the time we have cameras. We have cameras in front of our homes, apartments, everywhere. And the reason we have cameras in front of our houses, one, it's for people stealing, like robberies, if someone tries to come in the house, or stealing packages, that's another thing. In America, people stealing packages has become very popular and rampant lately. Stealing packages, break-ins, security reasons if there's anything dangerous going on in your neighborhood. Like, you always have to have a camera in front of your house. It's always recommended nowadays. In Japan, a normal day-to-day person does not have cameras in front of their house, which it was pretty shocking for me when I first moved to Japan, but I think that just goes to show how safe Japan is as a country, that like people feel super safe in their own homes where they don't feel like they need to have cameras in front of their houses. But yeah, it's just like in America, it's gotten crazy. Everyone has cameras at their homes because theft and break-ins is so common nowadays. 次のことはね、日本人の人は they mind their own business. どうやって言うかな、自分のことを集中する? I don't know how to say this, but basically, Japanese people mind their own business. And it could be a good thing and a bad thing. There's pros and cons. But this is one thing I've noticed moving to Japan is that, like, walking down the street, someone could be like saying weird stuff or laughing to themselves or dancing, but Japanese people don't really care. They just keep walking and they don't really ask them like, what are you doing? Or like if someone's crying in Japan, I've seen this before. If someone's crying like in the middle of the street, like, ah, like everyone just like walks past them and like ignores them, especially in Tokyo. In Tokyo, nobody cares. Like, 周りの人を無視する? Yeah, everyone just ignores people around them. And it's actually really fun because it's like everyone's in their own world. 日本にアメリカのニュースとか見ると I think you can see it often. America has a very weird political divide nowadays, which I feel like you guys don't have in Japan. Like in Japan, I noticed people don't really talk about politics, especially young people. And it doesn't seem like there's much of a divide with people with politics. Maybe in the older generation there is. But in America, political division is like a real thing and it really affects people. Sometimes people don't even want to be friends with you if you have different political views, or it's very interesting how crazy politics can get into everything. So, for example, one thing that I've noticed is 感謝の日とかクリスマスとかあるけど、その日に家族とみんな集めて食事を食べて like you just talk. There's like a saying in America where it's like, don't talk about politics at the dinner table. It's like a saying that we say. Because in America, politics can really divide your family. Like if you're not on the same line, like people start hating each other. And that's one thing that I noticed in America that I don't notice in Japan. I feel like in Japan, I rarely notice people talking about politics. Maybe they do and it's like in their own homes, or it's in America. I feel like more of like a divide. Like it's, I don't want to say it's fighting, but that's how it feels like. There's more of like a strong fight when it comes to politics in America. But in Japan, I don't really feel that or see that as often. I think I talked a little bit about this in my other video. 日本の食べ物本当に it's like you can't even compare it to America. It's so amazing and so delicious and very cheap. So coming from where I come in America, I think it's very common. It's like a stereotype of America that most Americans are like fat. And I think percentage-wise and just statistically, it's true. Comparing Japanese people to American people, American food is just so unhealthy and the portions are bigger. So American people tend to be a little bit more bigger than Japanese people. But besides that, it's just really the food quality level. I think it's so different. When you go to America, I think 多分日本人の人がアメリカに行くとこの違いが right away. 食べ物の色 like the color of food in America, it's very vibrant and very fake. And the dessert の甘さ is like, it's so sweet. I always say it's like 芝ができてる感じをする. Like it feels like you have like a cavity like developing as you're eating in America, because the food is just caked in sweets and sugar and it's just so much. For example, like in America, we don't really have like fast food places that are very healthy. I mean, the only ones that come to my mind are like Chipotle とか Panera. Like you can get healthy foods. なんか丸亀なんでどうすんだっけ? Like the udon place or like sushi とか like any kinds of foods you can get healthy, super cheap, super fast. And that's just not a thing in America. It's definitely not as healthy. Oh, and with this whole like food thing, this is another reason why I love Japan, and one of the reasons where I'm just like, I love living. There's no tipping culture in Japan. Tip in America, the tipping culture has gotten so crazy nowadays. I don't know how to explain this, but in America, for example, if you go to a coffee shop and you just order a coffee, or you just order food, they have like this iPad and they turn it around and they ask for a tip. And a lot of the times the tipping culture has gotten so outrageous where they do this everywhere now, where they ask for your tips. アメリカで私大学の時ウェイトレスの仕事をやってたんですけど、 so like I understand like the waitressing culture and the tip culture, but in America, it's out of control where like you have to tip everyone everywhere and it can get so expensive. So like if you're going out to eat, let's say you spend like $100, you're supposed to tip 20%. So you're supposed to tip $20, which is a lot of money. In America, the reason why you have to tip is because like when I was a waitress, I was not paid a high enough hourly wage. So let's say the hourly wage minimum is $10. In America, when I was waitressing, I got paid $3 an hour because you're supposed to make it up with tips. So that's why we have tipping culture in America. But nowadays, it's just gotten so outrageous where like everywhere and everyone just requires a tip. So you just have to spend so much money when you go out, which is why I don't like going out to eat when I'm in America. But in Japan, you don't have to tip. And you don't have to tip, but the customer service here is great. So even though people in Japan aren't receiving tips, they still offer really awesome, great customer service. So that's just like, it's wonderful. I love it. The other big difference that I've noticed about Japan and America is Japanese kyushoku, like Japanese school education cafeteria food. So different from America. And how in Japanese cafeteria systems or cafeteria foods, you guys really make sure that the kids are getting like protein, like fruits, vegetables, carbs. Like it's like chanto wakete, you guys feed the kids like that. I think Japanese people would be like flabbergasted and shocked to see American cafeterias, like school cafeteria, and how we feed kids. But like in America, usually what the lunch system is, it's like pizza, nachos, maybe hamburgers, and then the fruits and the vegetables, you have to pick your own, and they're so not good looking. Like they look so gross. But the fruits that they serve in American schools, it's so nasty. And the vegetables that they serve in American school systems, it's so gross. They also have like vending machines for like chips and sodas. I knew it was crazy because when I would come to Japan and go to school in Japan, how they feed kids here, it's like you're actually getting nutrition. But in America, they're just feeding you food. They're not really focused on giving you nutrition. So that was like one of the biggest things that I noticed, and what really made me love Japan and like fall in love. Like if I have kids, I know that they'll be well fed in Japan. So yeah, those were more reasons why I moved to Japan, and kind of other differences that I've noticed about Japan and America. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you again for everyone who likes and comments. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in the next video.